Good evening, Mazda trucking fans. This is MJ here with another progress report on Project Outlaw. As you can see, I've been doing a little bit of cleaning up, trying to get the wires so nice and pretty. I rewired the starter solenoid wire. Sen actually recommended that I put on a relay. I ignored him at first, not out of disrespect, but just because I was in too big a hurry and didn't feel like doing it at the time. Well, I melted the starter wire. So I ran a new one, and it's now hooked up to the relay as he recommended, and it's starting up pretty good. Second update, you can see that is not the Mazda brake booster anymore. This is a Hydro Boost setup that I have adapted to bolt onto our firewalls. Had to enlarge the holes a little bit for the larger stud, make a custom plate, custom lines. That is a 1980 C30 brake master cylinder there. Had to modify the push rod because it was supposed to be a small flush little divot on the end of the plunger, and it said it was a deep hole, so that didn't quite work out so well, but it does now. Had to adapt the lines too to go from the big fittings to the small lines. One note is that on the Mazdas, this is for the rear lines and this is for the front lines, and that's not really the case on the Chevy. This is for the rear lines on the Chevy and this is for the fronts. So that was a small problem that I had to figure out on the fly. Next, you can tell I've been busy. I'm mocking up the shocks right now. These are from, I believe, a Jeep JK stock height. I'm gonna have to get new ones because these are clearly blown. But I just need to weld on a tab down there. Going to do the same thing for the other side. I'll pull it a little bit further away from the leaf springs. It'll be a-okay. Also, you can see I got rid of the bump stops that were for the control arms. No point in having them there anymore. They're just kind of sitting there anyways. And looks like I'm a little weepy on the brake lines right there, so I'm just going to go ahead and make new pieces there since it seems to be leaking. It happens, but it's important that I get it right before I put it on the road. Alright, rear shocks. So this is the stock B-Series leaf spring U-bolt plate right here. Originally this is set up for a spring under axle, but being that it's a different application, I put it on spring over. I am going to have to modify this because when spring under, this shock perch right here is over here on this side. Might not look like much of a big deal, but the angle's a little steeper than I like. And if you take a look at the other side, it gets real close to where the brake line is, and I do not like that whatsoever. So that will be modified. On the upside, it does look like I will be able to use the stock B-Series shocks, because when I did the axle flip, this point right here was originally at a lower height. It was actually on the bottom of the axle. So I won't have to figure out what shocks I'm going to run. I'm just going to run stock B-Series shocks. These again are Jeep shocks right there. They're a little bit longer. I'm probably going to ride these a little bit until I purchase all new shocks. Can't really tell because it's too dark out, but I do have the roll bar installed and the lights do work. And these were the switches. I forget who it was that recommended it to me, but these are the switches out of a Jeep Cherokee, and as you can see, they work very nicely. Still working on putting the interior back together. I'm not going to be able to do a test fire because it's too late right now. This is MJ signing off. Hopefully I'll be able to do photo bucket and pictures.